And our second guest tonight is Melanie Conner with Rainbow Village. It's a nonprofit, and hopefully we have Melanie on here with us.
Here she is.
Yes,
Look at that smile.
Hey, there she is. Hey, Melanie, how are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
We are so glad to have you, and we're excited to learn about Rainbow Village tonight. And you're in Gwinnett County. Sarah and I reside in Gwinnett County. And we're just glad to have you on WCEG Talk Radio and how we can help and serve you and your community. So would you be so kind to tell us a little bit about yourself and about Rainbow Village, please?
Certainly. I feel like I'm being set up with all the stuff Cricket just talked about. And now
you are.
She said she doesn't grade people, but I feel like I'm about to be graded here. So
no, and you'll get an A+ here.
Real quickly, Rainbow Village is actually a community of transformation. That's what we call it, because we work with families who are experiencing homelessness, and we work with them in every possible way, every way that you can think of that a family experiencing homelessness would need help. For instance, the first thing you think of course, is housing. And we provide housing on our campus in Gwinnett, where we have 30 individual apartments for the families to live in.
Wow.
We also provide after school care for the children in the community center. So a number of things, everything that you could think of that a family would need, we actually provide those items for them and the support that they need in order to become sustainable, self-sufficient. I'm sorry.
Well, very, very good. So you say that you have 30 apartments for people there in Gwinnett County? Correct.
We have 32 and 3-bedroom apartments on our campus. And so the families can stay for up to 2 years, which gives them an adequate amount of time to really kind of get things together. We're not an emergency shelter. We're a transitional housing program. So we really are there to help families make that transition from homelessness, sometimes to home ownership, or at least to market rate housing.
Absolutely. So that's very interesting. And Sarah, I'll let have you say a few things about that, because I know that Sarah and I, with our nonprofit, that we have done a lot with Home of Hope. And I was totally unaware that you had apartments and women and children that were housed there, Melanie. So that's amazing.
Yeah, we're one of the few organizations that work not only with women and children, but with families. So currently on our campus, we have 4 married couples and their children. We have a grandfather raising his 2 young granddaughters. We have a grandmother raising her young grandson. So although primarily our families are single women, we do actually serve families in whatever that makeup looks like.
Absolutely. Well, could you be so kind to, before we really get started into some questions here, tell us the links and everything of how people can get a hold of you at Rainbow Village, please?
Absolutely. Our website is rainbowvillage.org. And that's the same thing for all of our Instagram, Facebook, everything. If you find us on Rainbow Village, you would be able, there are several Rainbow Villages out there. So look for Rainbow Village, Inc. And of course, again, in Duluth, Georgia. And yeah, I think that's everything. We're all Rainbow Village, all over the place.
Okay, absolutely good. Sarah, you got some questions, Sarah?
Just a thought, right? So I see everyday businesses and taxpayers, and the COVID has really been hard on people. How has that affected you in Rainbow Village?
Yeah, if you can imagine, it's been extremely difficult for us being a nonprofit, but more difficult on the families that we're serving. If we have families who've already been experiencing homelessness, they already experienced trauma. Many of them have been through domestic violence situations, and then all of a sudden here comes COVID. COVID created a situation, of course, for all of us where we're doing what we're doing right now. We have to be socially distant, doing everything virtually. And so we had to immediately, and I hate using this word because it's been overused, but we had to immediately pivot. In order to make sure that we could take care of our families, because we didn't have the luxury of shutting down. We didn't have the luxury of not going in. We had to make sure that we were taking care of our families. And so we did a number of things. We immediately reached out to the families themselves to find out what they needed, deal with their fears, their concerns, all of those things, and how can we best help them. And we were very, very fortunate to, even though we had to cancel a lot of our events that were coming up, we decided to do just an ask. And we decided, hey, we're going to ask everybody, try to raise $10,000 in 10 days. That was our initial goal. And, just to say, hey, we needed just some funds to make sure that we can help the families along the way. And that $10,000, I want to tell you, it turned into over $100,000.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. We were able to push the story out, tell people what the needs were of the families, and they, as Cricket was talking about, could identify with the needs. And so we were able to get the funding that we needed to support the families, from the beginning. Because one of the biggest things I think that we were able to do is provide them with internet access, because where would they be right now if they didn't have internet access? The kids kept to do their school, education that way. The parents, some of them were able to work from home. So just providing those, what we consider basic needs, was a luxury for them. And so to provide that and be able to allow them to continue to do the work that they needed to do and take care of their children was really important.
Yeah, it's been a hard time for a lot of people, and I've seen businesses pivot into other things, and I've seen businesses go out of business because there's nothing out, there's nothing there. I mean, you can't survive on nothing.
Exactly, and there are a lot of nonprofits that are not going to survive this.
No, there's not.
I'm sorry.
I will tell you that with Congress seeing all this and people not giving money as easily as they once did, they have adjusted that you can take $300 right off the top of your taxes in 20 on your tax return instead of it being on a Schedule A. The remainder would go on Schedule A, but there's the $300 automatic. So hopefully that will help some nonprofits out.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, now having that kind of knowledge, and thank you, Sarah, for sharing that, but that kind of knowledge and things like that to share with potential donors is always very good, because not everybody, as Cricket was saying, not everybody wants to give it. Sometimes they do want a tax write-off. That's just a reality for some people. Right. And so, we will take it any way we can get it. So tax write-off from the heart, it all goes to serve the families.
Absolutely. Well, the needs of the beneficiaries of your service, has it increased or decreased or changed in some ways? Please let us know.
Well, during the first few months of this season, everything slowed down. So we didn't get nearly as many people calling. Everybody kind of stayed put, where they were. We're seeing an uptick in that now, as people either return to work or don't return to work and are now unable to pay their rent, things like that. And so we're seeing an uptick in the need for the services that we provide. But for these last, 6, 7, 8 months that we've been doing this, what we have discovered with our families is how resilient they actually are. We were really, really concerned about, oh my gosh, they've been through so much already and now COVID is coming, but they helped us in a lot of ways to get through and get over some of our own anxiety about what we needed to do for them. When we had those one-on-one conversations with them, they talked a lot about, we just appreciate the fact that you're there. And so we didn't go home and shut down and decide we wouldn't be there and available for them. So being there and available, continuing to provide the services, even though we had to make changes in the way that we did it, was very helpful for them. And like I said, was really very helpful for us as well. So we anticipate, though, in the next few months that we will have a greater need for our services, unfortunately, because a lot of people will not be able to get their jobs back or be able to pay their rent, and they're going to become homeless.
Well, and I think also, Melanie, the governments or the states where they said, they couldn't evict anybody, couldn't turn powers off for so long. And now all this stuff has come to fruition where they can, if people didn't pay their rent, that they can take them to court or whatever. So I'm sure you are going to see a high increase, as well as the holidays. I mean, do you see a higher increase during the holiday period?
Yeah, typically So, right at the end of the year, beginning of the year is when things kind of happen. I don't know if it's has something to do with the times that people's leases are up and things like that, but those are typically harder times, harder season for everybody. And I think it also around the holidays is just when people want to be at home. They want to be in a place that they can call home, and so they really start thinking about, well, what can I do to improve my situation?
So, are you completely full right now, or do you have availability?
We are completely full at the moment. But because these families come in at different times and they can stay for up to 2 years, we have kind of a rolling opportunity for people to come in. We don't accept a waiting list because we want to make sure that the families have ample time to complete their journey. And so
Right.
I don't want anybody else who may be homeless to just, anticipate, well, 3 months from now, I'll be able to get somewhere. So we try and provide them with resources that they can do and use now. And then when we open up the opportunity, we get a lot of referrals from churches and businesses and word of mouth and things like that. So we don't usually have to do a big marketing campaign about the fact that we have vacancies.
Absolutely. And I'm sure you have guidelines for families that come into the system, and that there's certain responsibilities and accountabilities that they have to do. And it's a great thing that I'm sure you have resources where you're teaching them and educating them about banking and finances and things of this nature. Is that true?
Absolutely. So the primary or the basic needs for individuals to be able to access the service is it has to be a family, meaning that it has to be an adult that has custody of at least one minor child. So that's the minimum. We don't serve single individuals. We don't serve couples. It has to be a family.
Family.
We used to say, which we've changed this a lot over the last couple of years, that they had to have reliable transportation because we don't have MARTA or anything in Gwinnett County. But reliable transportation, we found, is kind of a moot point in some instances because we've literally had a family who pulled into our parking lot and their car died in the parking lot.
Oh, God.
They met the requirement in the beginning, but then of course that changed. But we've been able to form a wonderful partnership with an organization called Auto Gift that provides cars to single moms. So, even if they come in without transportation, we can link them up with Auto Gift and help them get that. But outside of that, those are really the main things. We say we want them to have been a Georgia resident for about 30 days minimum and to maybe have Georgia ID. And that's just because we don't want people moving from another state, calling us, they're homeless in another state, coming to Georgia to be homeless. We really would rather deal with the folks who are already here and need our help in our backyard.
Very good. So what does the solicitation and use of volunteers look like today with the COVID over the last several months?
Oh, that has been quite the challenge, I must say. When we had to social distance and we were, nobody wanted to come out to volunteer or anything, but we came up with a lot of virtual volunteer opportunities. And so we had opportunities for people to do, we had a lady do salsa with the kids virtually. So she taught them how to do salsa. We had somebody come in and do a couple of arts and crafts projects with the children as well. We've done a lot of the adult learning. We've had to do that. And we're still doing a lot of that adult learning online as well. So situations just like we are doing right now is what a lot of our families are doing as well, because we knew the importance of continuing the education and opportunities for them to learn and improve their lives.
Well, how are you staying in touch and keeping your volunteer base thriving?
We have a wonderful volunteer coordinator. She's actually community engagement coordinator. We changed her title so we can give her more work to do. She does a fabulous job of engaging the volunteers and, identifying what they want to do, not just what we need, but also what they want to do. So we just recently had, we had a need where we had a retaining wall that was falling down. We called it the Jericho wall. It was falling down. And we had an Eagle Scout who needed to do his project. So him, his dad, and a few of his friends came in and put up that retaining wall. It was an outside activity. It helped us and it helped him. So we are always, Elizabeth, our community engagement coordinator, does a fantastic job of identifying, again, what the volunteer wants to do and also what we need. We have volunteers that come in. We're doing digital learning with the children right now and in our community center. So a lot of them are not going to school. They come to our community center. We hired instructional coaches to work with them during the day. And then we always need lunch ladies to come in. So, or lunch men for that matter. So we've had lunch ladies and lunch men come in and prepare the meals for the kids during the day. So we are trying to be creative in how we engage our volunteers. The volunteer engagement opportunities or volunteer engagement meetings still occur on a monthly basis. So if people contact us, we put them in touch with Elizabeth. She gives the dates for those meetings, and then she does a Zoom call where she walks through and gives information about Rainbow Village and what opportunities exist right now and what we might need in the future as well.
Do you have any of those opportunities or needs posted on a website or Facebook or anything like that, Melanie?
We have it everywhere. So we have it on Facebook. We have it on our website. We're constantly, like I said, also trying to find new ways to engage people. So if you don't see it on any of our sites, if you give us a call, we will find a way for you to be able to use your time and talent.
So will our concept of volunteers change in this new environment for 2021? What are you foreseeing?
Yeah, I think our concept of everything's going to change in 2021. I think that, we have this notion of getting back to normal, and I think our normal is just going to be different in every way. So a lot of what we're doing now will be also opportunities, which I think is great, because oftentimes a person cannot take the time to actually come to our campus. And we can expand our circle. We can expand our reach. Now we can go and get people that can volunteer no matter where they are. They don't have to live in Gwinnett County. They can be on the other side of the world. If they want to volunteer with us, then it gives us an opportunity to provide that and expose the organization as well. So I think it's going to be something, if we're smart, it'll be something that we'll continue to do even as we move back into more in-person activities.
For your volunteers, do they have to do a background check or pay for their own background check?
We do ask that they do a background check, and we ask that they pay for that. We are a nonprofit, so that's one of those things that helps us help others. And then we do training. So again, our community engagement coordinator does training with them. So depending on the particular area that they want to work in, and walks through what the specifics are of the jobs or the work that they'll be doing.
Absolutely. Sarah, you got a question, Sarah?
Well, I was going to move on to funding unless you got something else for that.
No, that's good.
All right. So
my favorite subject.
The funding, right? What's happening with it? Is it decreased, increased? How is that happening? And what can we do to help with that?
Okay, well, so I love that question. Fortunately, and I have to say we've been very, very blessed that our funding has not increased, but certainly we've been able to maintain. We are very grateful to be an organization that is in a position that we are, I feel, moving towards sustainability, which is always the goal for a nonprofit organization. And we had a donor, unfortunately, that passed away last year, but we were part of her will. And so that really, really helped us in terms of, setting money aside. But one of the things that has happened for us, and it's, sometimes people are reluctant to go into the spiritual nature, but I just believe that we have been very, very blessed in that every time it looks like the coffers are getting a little low, somehow somebody will step in, yes, and really provide exactly what we need at exactly the time we need. And so that's been happening over and over and over again this year, more so than any other time that we've been in operation. So even though the funds are not as much as we would like to make, we've had to make some adjustments. We had to, our golf classic that we normally have in April, we had to cancel that or postpone it, and we had it in August, but we ended up making probably more money in August than we might have made under normal circumstances because everybody was so excited to get outside and play golf. We've sold out, everybody participated. It was really, really good. So we've had some, again, having to make some changes, but the changes have been very positive for us thus far.
Speaking of virtual, what has happened to your live events? Do you have any other events between now and end of the year?
We do, and everything is virtual. So we have our gala, which is our largest fundraiser of the year, is actually going to be virtual. It's on November the 7th. Typically, we have it at the Atlanta Athletic Club, and we have 350 or so of our closest and dearest friends there. And now, of course, we won't be able to do any of that. So this year, we're going virtual. We're going to live stream from a place called Chivo and Vino, and I'll have a wine wall behind me. So what's not fun about that? And we have encouraged people to have small groups at their homes. So to have watch parties to encourage others, their friends, family, whoever they're comfortable with in their own homes. And then of course, individually, we want everybody to watch as well. So the links for that will be on our website, especially on that day. The link for the gala will be on the website. It's free. We're not charging anybody to participate. Again, an opportunity for us, we feel, to expand our reach. Because we have former board members and former members who now live in other cities and states and things like that. And we want them to be able to participate. And we want, like I've been doing for everybody else, I can go watch everybody else's stuff too, so I can learn from them. So certainly, welcome people to come in, take a look at what we're doing, give us some feedback, give us some money, all of the things that every nonprofit is having to do right now. So everything we're doing, we have a women's giving circle, and we've been having a Better Together theme throughout this year. And when we started the Better Together, we didn't know how together or untogether we would be at the time, but it's been going really well as well. We've been expanding that, but all of those events have been virtual. We have an event coming up on December the 17th with the Women's Giving Circle, where we will be providing micro grants to some of our residents. So they will apply for micro grants for specific areas of support that they need. And then the Giving Circle will vote on those things, and then we'll be presenting those events. And that's going to be a hybrid event. We'll have some in-person on small scale as well as virtual. So we're like everybody, like you guys are doing now as well. We immediately knew we had to make the change, and we have, I think done that somewhat successfully. Although you never know, because as soon as I say that, my internet will die, and then I'm gone. So who knows?
No, that won't happen. Well, what about for Thanksgiving and Christmas? What are the needs that you have during that time?
We primarily, we don't ask for a lot of toys or items like that. And the reason for that is because we like for our parents, our families, to be able to get the things that their children want for themselves. So we typically ask people to provide gift cards so that the parents can shop for their children. Because what mom knows her child a lot better than we do. And even though we enjoy going out and buying stuffed animals and then, whatever, we know that little Johnny actually wants this particular, thing. And so we can go and get Peppa Pig for, little Susie or whatever, then that's great. So we ask for gift cards so that the parents can have the opportunity to make that purchase themselves. And we think that kind of gives the family or the mom or the dad, for that matter, a sense of dignity that I can go and provide for my children the things.
I love it.
Just like we do.
I love that.
By my own stuff, I don't really necessarily want things, not that they don't appreciate it, please don't misunderstand that, but it gives them the satisfaction of going and getting the things that they want their children to have.
Well, Sarah, you want to have a comment on that? I have to dry my eyes for a minute.
Well, and I'm sure like gas cards would be good. So do y'all provide a big meal during those times, or do they do that themselves, or how does that work?
Yeah, so typically we have a big Thanksgiving dinner where we all came together. Of course, we can't do that this year. So we are trying to be, again, creative. We are looking at doing a couple of different ways. We have some fantastic cooks on our campus. Some of the residents can really, they can throw down when it comes to the food. So some of them prefer to prepare their own meals. And so if that's what they want, we do give them gift cards so they can go and purchase their items, but then we'll supplement. So we know with kids being home all day, every day right now, eating everything else at home, we want to make sure that we're providing supplemental items. So on our website again, and on Facebook and Instagram, we provide lists of items that people can donate. And so we have snack bags that they can bring in, and you can kind of put the bags together. So there are a lot of different items that we list out there that people can provide to support the families on an ongoing basis. both at Thanksgiving and Christmas.
So the 32 apartments, they have their own kitchens in those apartments that they cook their own meals. Is what you're saying, Melanie?
Yeah, so the apartment, let me just tell you, these apartments are not what you would expect for what people would think of as a homeless program. I mean, I would live in the apartment if they would let me. I would live there. The 2-bedroom apartment has 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, full kitchen. It has a stackable washer and dryer in the unit. We have a security system in the unit so they can feel safe by turning that on. We have a landline phone in the unit so that they can, if their phone gets cut off for any reason, they still have access to the outside world, or if they have to hold for a long time for some reason, they can use it. So, I mean, they have everything that they need in order to, it's not a one room kind of place or space that they're living in. They actually have a full apartment, and we're located right near downtown Duluth, and we are right behind some apartments that cost, I don't know, $1,500, $1,600, $1,700. And I would put our apartments up against them anytime. I think that, families feel that as well when they walk into the door and realize that this entire space is theirs for their family. And oftentimes, they just cry because they can't believe that this is their space for this time.
So all the families there are able to provide their own meals with no problem, Melanie?
Well, again, we provide all kinds of support in that area. So ongoing, we make sure that they have, we get donations of, fresh fruit and vegetables and canned goods and things like that. We want to make sure, we're trying to also make sure they're eating healthy, not just the chips and those kinds of things. And so a lot of times we try and make sure we get those kinds of fresh items for the families as well so that they can do it. But for those who don't cook, we have had groups that came in, and we've had several folks do this, restaurants and others, who came in and just provided a full meal or a bag that would be a full meal for a family of 4, that kind of thing, so that everything that they need is in it, including the recipes on how to cook the stuff.
Very good.
Of how to do that. So so we absolutely have opportunities for people to support us in that way.
Well, thank you for sharing that information. Sarah and I are the co-founders of the Women of Community Impact, and we look forward to speaking with you to see how we can help and serve your community as well. And we appreciate you sharing the information about Rainbow Village. Could you please tell us one more time the website for Rainbow Village, a phone number or email address of how they can reach out to you, any links with Amazon or anything, for the holidays where people can shop and use Rainbow Village that way. So please share that with us.
Absolutely. We are signed up with Amazon Smiles. So if you go to Amazon and shop like I do all the time, you can go to Amazon Smiles, select Rainbow Village as your preferred nonprofit, and we will get a portion of the proceeds. It doesn't cost anything extra to you, but it is a support to our families. Our website is www.rainbowvillage.org. Our Instagram is also Rainbow Village, and Facebook is Rainbow Village, Inc. So you can find us on all of those social media accounts using Rainbow Village. Look for us. We are in Duluth, Georgia, because there are a couple of Rainbow Villages throughout the country. We are the Rainbow Village that is located in Duluth, Georgia. By phone, we can be reached at 770-497-1888. And my email I put in the chat, but I can be reached at mconner@rainbowvillage.org. It's Conner with an E, not an O. And you can also send information to info@rainbowvillage.org, and one of our staff will get back to you as soon as possible.
Thank you so much. Sarah and I are just so grateful for your time, for sharing about Rainbow Village. We look forward, Sarah, for making an appointment to come down there and visit Rainbow Village to see how we can help and promote you in the community. We would love to sponsor something for Rainbow Village. So
absolutely, like I said, as soon as I get off this phone, get off the call, I'll make sure that we link up with you guys and you ladies and make sure that we get you involved, because we love having as many people as possible come out and support our families.
Absolutely, because we live in a world where in a community it's not about serving ourselves, it's about serving others. And there's multiple people that do different things for different organizations, and there is enough opportunity for each organization to just continue to give and give and give. And we look forward to bringing our community together to give to Rainbow Village.
Yes.
Okay, if I do have just 1 second, we're going to share one more thing.
Sure.
Yes, ma'am. Please go right ahead.
Yeah, one of the things that has been really has stuck out for me during the season of COVID is the need for the staff and our residents to make sure they're taking care of their mental health. And so we, one of the things that has been really, really important for us is finding ways to help our families do that. And one of the ways to do that is to link them up with people like yourselves, where they just have an opportunity to have a conversation, talk through some of their issues, that kind of thing. And so that's another really, really important way for people to get involved, because we have, families. We have one young lady this year during this COVID season who has experienced her father's suicide, where she actually went and found him. We have another child, a 9-year-old, who has had sort of a mental breakdown. We had to send her to a residential center because she was experiencing a breakdown because of COVID. So the season that we're in right now is real.
Yes, it is.
It is very, very real for people, and don't ever let anybody tell you that it's not. People are experiencing this in a number of different ways. And so, we need as much help financially, of course, but also the presence of people so that they know, the families know that they're supported.
Well, and Sarah will attest to this. We have an amazing group of board members, sponsors, and volunteers on the Women of Community Impact that love to give. We have a lot of retired teachers. We have a lot of people that are specialized in that industry that can help those families. So we look forward to serving you in the near future soon.
All right. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Thank you. We appreciate it.